It was the month of December. It was almost midnight. Vijay was standing at the railway station, waiting for the passenger train to Rameshwaram. Thunder rolled across the sky, and in an instant, a heavy downpour began. With the sudden change in weather, Vijay began to shiver from the biting cold. Looks like there are no other passengers today because of this storm. The whole station is deserted, Vijay thought. It's already so late. I just hope the train arrives on time. Suddenly, the power at the platform went out, plunging everything into thick darkness. The weather continued to worsen, and standing on the pitch-black station became increasingly difficult for him. Suddenly, the blast of a train horn pierced the air, and a train pulled into the station. Since there were no other passengers, Vijay boarded quickly. The carriage was completely empty. Every seat was vacant. Exhausted, Vijay sat down and closed his eyes as the train began to move. He soon drifted into a light sleep. A while later, Vijay felt drops of water falling onto his face. Startled, he snapped his eyes open and looked around. The carriage was in total darkness. Amidst the eerie silence, all he could hear was the relentless lashing of rain against the metal. The train had stopped at a station. Feeling uneasy, he muttered to himself, "How long was I out? Is this Rameshwaram? Where am I?" He checked the watch on his wrist. Vijay checked his watch. The hands hadn't moved. It was still 12:05 a.m., the exact time he had boarded. Confused, he pulled out his phone, but the digital clock stared back with the same frozen time. He tried to check his GPS, thinking, "I've traveled this route for years. I've never seen this station before." When he tried to track the train online, his heart sank. A news alert flashed. All trains from Pawan to Rameshwaram canceled due to severe weather. "That's impossible," Vijay whispered, looking at the rusted, leaking ceiling of the carriage. "I'm sitting right here." The interior of the train had transformed. The windows were shattered, the fans were twisted like scrap metal, and the floor was flooded with murky seawater. Terrified, Vijay grabbed his phone and stepped onto the platform, but his screen went dead. The silence of the station was broken only by the violent cracks of lightning. In the distance, he saw the flickering glow of a lantern. Hoping for a station master, he ran toward it. A figure lay on a bench, covered by a shroud. "Excuse me, sir," Vijay said, pulling back the cloth. He let out a blood-curdling scream. Underneath was a rotting corpse, bloated and gray, its eyes bulging out of their sockets. As he backed away, a cold, wet hand grabbed his. He spun around to see a small child, 7 or 8 years old, with skin as white as marble and empty, hollow sockets where eyes should have been. "Where will you go, sir?" a voice rasped. It was the corpse on the bench, now sitting upright. Vijay broke into a dead run. Suddenly, a sharp whistle pierced the air. A man in a black coat, a ticket collector, TTE, stood in the shadows. "Sir, please help! What station is this?" Vijay pleaded. The TTE stepped into the light. His face was a mask of decayed flesh, his uniform soaked in brine. He let out a chilling laugh. "Those who come here never leave. This is the final stop." "This is a sick joke," Vijay yelled, his voice trembling. "I'll report you all." Suddenly, the station lights flickered to life. Vijay looked down. The platform was no longer concrete. It was covered in mounds of sea sand and rising water. He looked at the station sign and felt his breath leave his body. Dhanushkodi. "No, Dhanushkodi was swallowed by the sea 50 years ago," he stammered. "This station doesn't exist anymore." The roar of the ocean grew louder. Desperate, VJ jumped back onto the train as it began to pull away. This time, the train wasn't empty. He saw a woman cradling a baby and a man dozing off. Exhausted and traumatized, VJ collapsed into a seat and blacked out. The awakening. The next morning, VJ woke up to the sound of gentle waves. He was lying on the beach in Rameshwaram. The sun was bright and fishermen were casting their nets. It was just a dream, he sighed, checking his limbs. A horrific, vivid nightmare. But then he spotted it. An old, derelict train car half buried in the sand nearby. Drawn by a dark curiosity, he climbed inside. The smell of rot hit him instantly. He walked to the exact seat where he had sat the night before. There lay a body. VJ's heart stopped. The corpse wore his clothes. It had his ring. The rotting, bloated face staring back at him was his own. That night in 1964, the storm hit Dhanushkodi. A spectral voice echoed through the rusted halls. The ocean rose and the train vanished. No one survived. And now you belong to the sea too. VJ tried to run, but as he looked down at the sand, he realized he was leaving no footprints. He screamed for help at the passing tourists, but they walked right through him, feeling only a sudden, cold breeze. He looked back toward the ruins of the station. There stood the TTE, the woman, the child, and dozens of others, all pale, blue, and waiting. VJ took his place among them, a permanent resident of the ghost city.